Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss your present. You can discuss your future. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water. This is Fiji Water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at New Life Ministries International and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you, to address whatever topics are important to you and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So I'm going to remind all of our listeners and viewers before I begin, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, and we are RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. You can go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, and click on the New Life link. Every broadcast will be available to you. 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I want to begin by addressing a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have a lot of family drama going on leading into your holidays season. However, you are not certain how to deal with all the drama that's going on. The simple response to that is do not deal with it. Do not participate in the drama. You know, we understand that what God wants for us is that we have peace that surpasses all understanding, and that we have perfect peace. You can't have peace, let alone peace that surpasses all understanding and peace that is perfect, if you're going to deal with the family drama, or if you're going to participate in the family drama. You have to recognize that personalities are different, and everyone's got their own issues and brings their own life experiences to the table. But here's the reality. Your family is at odds with one another over specific issues that have nothing to do with you. They absolutely have nothing to do with you. They have no impact on your daily life. They have no impact on your personal life. They have no impact on your professional life. There's no reason for you to feel the necessity to become involved in the family drama. So let me expound on that just a little bit also by saying this. You know, for whatever reason, sometimes as human beings, when there's family drama going on, we feel like we have to give some input. No, we don't. We don't have to respond to family drama. We might listen if someone comes to us with a particular problem that they're dealing with other family members, we might listen to them and allow them to vent for a few moments. I don't recommend allowing them to vent forever. Sometimes you even have to say to your loved ones, I don't really feel the necessity to be involved. You might have to say to them, I need to let the two of you resolve that issue. The reality is, we don't have to become involved in every aspect of family drama. We don't have to weigh in, we don't have to deal with it, and we don't have to participate. We sometimes allow other people to bring us into the drama, or we feel the necessity to respond. And the truth of the matter is, that's never going to give you peace. We think that when we respond to the drama of others, that it will allow us to have peace, because it's not having an impact on us personally. But the truth of the matter is, the more you offer a response or opinion, the more they're going to expect you to become involved in the drama. So there's a lot going on right now. I get it. There's a lot going on with the dynamics of who's going to be spending time together over the holidays, who's not going to be able to spend time together over the holidays. But there's a lot of moving parts to life in general. So none of this really should be drama. The problem is that, and I'll tell you what God showed me in the secret place of your lives, is that some of the people that are going to be together during the holiday, they don't have filters, which then implies that they're going to really have some unpleasant conversations. There's going to be just basically drama that you don't need to deal with. And so let me address that by saying, you want peace, or you should want peace. And what you really should want is perfect peace. I talked about this last Sunday, that's what we're all going to be working for, is to achieve perfect peace in our lives. It doesn't mean that life won't happen. It just means that when we get to that place of perfect peace, whatever happens in life, we will respond accordingly, but we're not going to create problems. We're not going to make things up. We're not going to create problems in our mind. We're not going to create problems in our environment. We're certainly not going to be self-sabotaging. We're going to focus on having perfect peace. You can't do that by dealing with the drama of family. So if you know that there's going to be drama when you get together during the holidays, now I'm going to say this for all of our listeners and viewers. If you know you have family members that there's going to be some drama during the holidays, if you're hosting, you don't have to invite them. Now, I know that sounds cold, but if they're going to disrupt your peace and disrupt your household, you don't need to invite them. If they show up, then okay, but you don't need to invite them. But if you're not hosting, which in our listener and viewer case, you're not going to be hosting, so you don't even have to go. You could stop by at a off time. Now, I know there's some travel issues also, but you could drop by on an off time and spend some time with the loved ones that you want to see, the family patriarchs and matriarchs. Pick an off time and go. Go before everyone else arrives. You don't have to be there on, for example, on Christmas Day. You could go and arrive before everyone else arrives and leave before everyone else arrives. There are ways to ensure that you keep your peace. but do not deal with it and do not participate. Why? You already know. They started the drama before Thanksgiving. Now Thanksgiving is come and gone, and they're still having drama. And they're going to continue right through the new year. Right, well, I should say right through Christmas towards the new year. They're going to still be dealing with that drama. Let them do what they feel they need to do, and you're going to focus on doing what you know is going to give you peace. Because anything else should be unacceptable. And this is what I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers. That's our goal for the coming year. We want to have perfect peace in every aspect of our lives. So personally and professionally, we want to have peace. And that doesn't mean that there'll be things that are required of you or expected of you in your professional career that you don't enjoy doing, but that need to be done. So you still have to do those things. But you can be at peace while you're doing them. You can just say, this is just part of my career. Don't have to like that part of it, but it's my career. And do the task as if the Lord has asked you to do them. And be mindful of this. You're trying to work for perfect peace. So you have to find that peace in every aspect of your career also. Every aspect of your personal life. Be certain that we are focusing on perfect peace in the coming year. I'm just watching for the technical issue, but it resolved itself, so we're good. I say all of that to say that's the goal for the coming year. A year of perfect peace that we can then carry on in the years to come. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have repeatedly had problems with relationships. The last relationship ended a couple of months ago and you are ready to begin dating again. You want to know what can you do different. Okay, so first of all, let me say this. You're not ready to date again. You think you're ready to date again, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. You have to ask yourself, you're asking what can you do differently? The question is, what can you do differently? The question should be, what can you do differently to ensure that your next relationship, that you're ready for your next relationship? You think you're ready to start dating again, but the reason you think you're ready to start dating again is because it's the holidays. Everybody likes to have companionship during the holidays. That's great. But the truth of the matter is that you've got to prepare yourself, not just to date. You got to prepare yourself to be a wife. Because your goal is that you want to someday be married and someday have a family. So in order to do that, you have to prepare yourself not to date, but prepare yourself to be a wife. So that's the first thing that you have to do differently. And then you have to take a different approach to dating. You have to use the methodology that I've been talking about for some time now. Because this is what you can do differently. And that is, don't just date for entertainment. Don't date for sport. Don't date because you can, because you want a free meal. None of that's important. We date with a mission. So we have to really focus on what's our mission. The mission is you want to eventually get married. So you have to prepare yourself to be a wife. And let me tell you, the easiest way to prepare yourself to be a wife is to read Proverbs 31. Go to your Bible and read Proverbs 31. You will have a clear understanding of what it means to prepare yourself to be a wife. That's the first thing. For men, if you're going to prepare yourself to be a husband, you need to read the entire Holy Bible. And that's not to say women shouldn't read the Holy Bible. We should all be reading the Holy Bible. But because you're focused on one thing right now, I'm using one example to say, read Proverbs 31. Now, having said that, everything that society has taught us about dating, we should reject. We should throw it out right now and reject it. Because society has done so much to ensure, and I understand capitalism, but to ensure that dating is just purely and simple a revenue driving factor for most companies. You know, whether it's flowers, chocolates, restaurants, food and beverage, whatever it is, society has taught us that that's what dating is about. And that's not what dating is about. It's only part of it. But it's only a part of it when you are focused on building a great quality of life for your relationship or your spouse. So we have to look at this from a realistic perspective that says, I can do better if I do this differently. So what does that look like? So you've all heard me say this. And for you, because you're a woman, if someone asks you out, either he needs to take you to his church and out to lunch, or if he doesn't have a church home, invite him to your church and he can take you out to lunch. This isn't about someone, you'll know everything that you need to know after you do that 3 times. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because the very first time you go to church and out to lunch, if a guy asks you to split the check or to go Dutch, you're not foreign. There's no reason for you to split a check. There's no reason for you to go Dutch. That's another misconception that society has taught us. If a man cannot take a woman out to eat and pay the bill, he doesn't need to date her. He's not ready to date. He's not ready to be a husband. He's not even ready to date. Because that's part of his responsibility as a gentleman. Now, it's different if a wife takes her husband out and it's his birthday or there's some special celebration. If she wants to pay the check because it's all coming from the same pool anyway, that's fine. For some of us, for some men, it's fine. Because it's all coming, if it's coming from the same pool of funds. But the reality is that as a man, that is our responsibility, period. I don't care who doesn't like it, that you tell them that that's the way it is. If they're not gonna pick up the check, you don't need to date them. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if they don't return for 2 more church outings and lunch consecutively, you don't want to date them. They're not going to make a commitment. Their only commitment is, I'll see you when I see you, and I'll take you out when I don't have something else to do. And we haven't gotten to the place where we're practicing this methodology. And the last thing is, of course, going to church 3 times, you're going to know what they're being taught, and going out to lunch 3 times, you're going to know everything you need to know. If you talk about what's their plan for their life, if you talk about, their ethics, if you talk about whether or not they want to be married, if you talk about whether or not they want to have children, if you talk about what their long-term plan is for their lives and the life of their loved ones, if they can't share that with you, then you don't need to date them. And if they share it with you and things don't line up with what you expect for a quality of life, you don't need to date them. So that's something else you can do different. And then the last thing is, and this kind of goes back to the first point, but if they're not on the same mission you're on, if you can't walk together in agreement that, my goal is to find the one person that God has appointed for my life, the one person that I can not only date, but I can build a future with and look towards, because that has to be the goal, the mission. Look towards marriage and someday having children, or marriage, and if you're older and not married and you're not going to be having children, that's okay. But we want to try and follow the word and be fruitful and multiply, so that's all good. But at the same time, as long as you can walk together in agreement, and as long as you can be equally yoked together, then you're going to be fine. If not, you're going to find that life together is going to be a struggle. And who wants to struggle? You don't want to struggle in relationships. You don't want tug and pull and push. You don't want any of that. You want peace. And our goal is to achieve perfect peace. So that's important. Let's make certain that we understand that we don't need to accept anything else in our lives that is not going to lead to us having perfect peace. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, you can you can stop in at the retail stores. They have everything that you could possibly need. Shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK, and they also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything you could possibly need. They have home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in those areas, if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door at an appropriate period of time, I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been assigned a very large project for the coming year. And you want to know, how do you prepare for this particular assignment while still handling your current workload? Okay, so let me say this to you. It's all about planning. It's about strategic planning. And part of that strategic planning has to be time management. Part of that strategic planning has to be operational management. In other words, you've got to be able to, strategically chart out the course for the coming year. And then you have to have an implementation strategy, which means that you're then going to implement. And the operational aspect is, how are you going to execute? So effectively and efficiently. So that's the new project. handling your current workload is just you praying that God will give you the strength and the direction, the guidance, the instruction, but you're competent in what you're doing right now. And you're capable of doing what the new assignment requires. However, it's all about strategic planning. So you've got to chart out the course. You've got to map out the time you're going to spend. So to really prepare you, I'm going to say something to you, and I use this in every aspect of my life. And I encourage everyone to do this also. Do everything in 2-hour blocks. That's going to take up 10 hours of your day. So the administrative aspect, and this is what I'm going to encourage you to do, the administrative aspect, set aside 2 hours every day and do the administrative aspects of your current workload and work on preparing yourself, your strategy for the coming year for the new project. So you're going to have to really familiarize yourself with the new project. So let's say the administrative work you have to do on your current workload, it lasts an hour and 15 minutes. That leaves you still 45 minutes of that 2-hour segment to focus on really getting familiar with the new project. So the administrative aspect first, and then the development aspect. So how are you going to develop the implementation strategy? How are you going to develop the execution method for really accomplishing the goal? So spend 2 hours on the development aspect. Now, you have a current workload that's going to require development also, and let's say that takes you 1 hour instead of 2 hours to do that. Allocate the last hour for development of the new project. If it takes 90 minutes, allocate 30 minutes for developing the new project. But make certain that you spend the entire time available getting familiar with the new project. If you do that every day, you've got 2 weeks, essentially, a little over, about 3 weeks, essentially, to get to where you need to be to prepare yourself to perform the new project at a high level. So, the next thing is management. Focus on how you're going to manage the new project, the employees, the internal customer, the external customer. How are you going to manage? How are you going to navigate all of that? Spend 2 hours a day on that. If it takes you only 1 hour to focus on that for the day, on your current workload, spend the other hour focusing on getting familiar with the new project. Same thing, operations, 2 hours. Whatever time you have to spend on the current workload, spend on that. The remaining time spend on familiarizing yourself with the new project, the new implementation, the implementation of the new project. Same thing, pardon me, I said operations. So, marketing. You got to make certain that you are really focusing on how you're going to market the new project to your internal customer and your external customer and your internal customer. And then operations. So it's really going to require you to manage your time effectively and efficiently. That's going to be necessary. But you've got 3 weeks to prepare yourself. So that's good news. Listen,